Hey y'all, I'm here to do a flip through of my finished January, ready to move on to February. And before I dismantle this guy, I figured I'd give you a little bit of a show and tell on how it got filled out. And so you can compare it to the before the pen video and see how everything turned out. I did end up moving over partway through the month to Strider, new cover, and I am letting this one get loved on pretty decently. It shows marks and squishes kind of pretty, and it came sort of one color originally, so now it's showing its stuff. So I think this is a leather that needs to be used, needs to be loved on to really show its love. So I did switch over to that, and it's been very comfortable and lovely. Didn't change much in the pocket department. Never got crafty and did that. Matter of fact, there's a few things that are stuck in there. We'll move that. I've got my little quote page, lined backer page for it. I did do my sticker a day. Filled out the whole month, and it feels so good. It was very motivating as a goal for January to get back to doing this, and it came out so cute and really reminds me how much using this Cocoa Daisy 4x6 card monthly for that is just so easy and simple and enjoyable. Month card, just another one. I ended up decorating this section just a little bit from a extra picture I printed of a very fun hike with my puppies and friends. My month at a glance, my quick memory month at a glance, came out adorable. So the first time I did this was in November, and I loved it so much that I did it in December, and now I've done it in January, and I'm planning on doing it in February. It is very cute. I can't believe how these pictures are literally only 0.75 tall, so less than an inch, and yet just you still get the essence of all the enjoyment. And then I just take a little highlighter with some words for other little bits. Before the pen, you can see that I use it a little bit more functionally, but now it's a functional and a look back page at the same time, which I really enjoy. I did not use this insert a single time, so I'm actually going to just probably relabel it and use it in February and give that another try. It might just be something that we've got to scrap as not happening. I do have all of my weeklies, which actually I can move this one here now, as it's done with that week. So just my weekly pages, my appointments on one side. Now you'll see them all filled in. I do cut them, which this month I kept writing it to do and didn't. But this tiny little rings, because this is rings and strings setup that I have going on. They're really tiny. And so what I found is that if I punch my inserts and I don't do any more trimming, it's a little snug with everything in here. And so you'll see, like when I flip it, you just have to be a little bit more careful to keep things on there. I use a really thin flexible paper. I feel like that affects it because the dashboards flip easier. But in December, I believe I did it, and I remember to do it in my setup for February. I punch it and then I trim just a little bit more off of the inside, and they will just work much better for these itty bitty rings. So, and they still stay on because I'm only using it for a month and I'm not like abusing it. I think because my dailies are back here, it stay on there. It works perfectly fine. So little tip if you're dealing with either a really chunky rings, because that happens even with a bigger ring set. If you just fill it in, it gets clogged. Or if you're going to use itty bitty rings. So a little bit of quotes, a little bit of that. Habits were very, very light and just deal with the new year, getting in stuff. So You'll see that section's a little bit lighter, and like this one, it didn't go well on some of the things, so I knew this week I just wanted to keep it even to one specific really important goal, which I did do, which is great. A little bit of memory keeping there, more appointments, very busy day on that, and then that made the next day a recovery day. And then we have the last week, which only had 3 days. I only filled it up there. I do split my week like that. So I know some people they'll put like the whole rest of the week, February, in here too, or use this. I have filled it in before. So after like I have my February week page like this, I've gone back and filled in both of them to match. That way if I'm looking at my February and I need to know something, I don't have to pull out my January. But in the day-to-day, like all of these things, I just moved over to the other list for it, and it worked just fine. I was testing out moving my pen loop to the weekly page, and I liked it much better. Menu planning, which I actually need to pull that real quick and put those away. My tracker, I did pretty good on my vitamins. I'm loving these little Post-its printables that I made for the trackers. I have 2 different things I'm tracking this month that I'm setting up. A note about some deep cleaning. My highlighter pen, which we didn't get a pen loop in February, so I'm just going to steal this one right out of here as well and use it again. March is coming with a cowhide one. It's super cute, so that should get fun. My stickers are still all in here. My notes I ended up adding a little keychain to, which was really fun, and actually helped this set every once in a while. It's really odd. The stickiness of the die cut stickers is not as great as it is other months. And so there's several tabs. I know the media tab is one that just does, it just doesn't want to stay stuck. It's just not as resilient as other months, and this was the same thing. It just didn't want to stay stuck, and so I added extra glue, but then I actually put that on there too to keep it there. Some leftover Post-its, my other Post-its, my packets, inbox that needs to get uploaded. Not too crazy on the writing it down version. I was able to do a lot more just on my phone and typing it in. Pockets the same there, and then here we'll get some very good footage of flips. So we do have my cover all done. I did put that beautiful vellum right in there. I loved how it covered the year at a glance, in addition to the monthly. I've got my circle. I never got back to decorating it, or technically setting up my goals, because that's just how fast January went by. But this was fun. Most common thing obviously is my walking. These are actual, either I walked on leash or off leash walked my pups, so they got all that. Just trips. I know right in here I had several ideas of what I wanted to do, but I didn't have the tools, the pen, whatever. I was thinking of like watercolor the one day, I think. The one I wanted to use a glitter pen. But then when I got in my craft room at a time where I had time to do it, I couldn't for the life of you tell what was here. So I'm going to use some Post-its this February, this month coming to us. I'm going to use some Post-its that I can just stick here, and then when I have that time to sit down with all of my things, I can fill it out a little bit better. But I am pleased with what did land here and that little bit of learning. So there's that. Here's my trackers that I do have staggered. That staggering is the best. It's so easy to get to them. Started off pretty hot, dwindled a bit in there, but we did pretty good. I've had far blanker trackers. And then I had just dove right in. I love how this little page came out with these. It's the zinc Sprocket printer. Just did a little 4-pack or 4 collage on there and was able to make an easy spread. I am still tipping in my planning pages. It's working well, makes it fat, but it's happy. This one I wrote sideways, had some treadmill pictures. We did that fun. That's the one that I printed too, because I loved that we got to go do that. Matter of fact, I technically printed it 3 times. I have it itty bitty, big, and on a highlight sheet. Played with some pens with my cousin, some simple word pages. I ended up playing with our tombos and picking them out for the month a little bit after it had started. But I've got the washi, these little kind of washi tab pages. They hold up actually pretty darn well, surprisingly. Yeah, it's enjoyable. You get to see a little bit more of that pattern show up on the side, so that's really fun. Had a blah day there. Simple one with some washi corners. Did pretty good having these planner pages with the plan of tipping them in to my planner. Definitely encouraged me to get in here and write more. There's definitely days where that didn't happen, but it was nice as an encouragement. My weekly wrap up, which I completed the wrap, but not the setup. That was actually sadly a theme in February, where just the week would be here and it would start and just be gone. I tried to set up for planning for a week. It didn't happen, so I just ended up having this be part of my daily page with this lovely fun little die cut that I just glued in. That's I love using some of the stickers to emphasize certain appointments, and then I've got my regular setup, which I'm loving the little car for the on location ones. It's really fun. This one I didn't do my journaling, so I kind of came back. I got a great picture on our walk, so added that little self-motivation quote I came up with. Another page, a little bit of happy mail, a big picture to take up. So this would be a day that, again, didn't journal, came down to it, didn't want to journal, whether I did this later or that night. Just gave it a little bit of a fill in. And then we've got 1, 2, 3 days that didn't get any just writing done, but you can tip them in together and go from there. Here's the weekly wrap up that just didn't happen. I did do all my picture stuff. I kept them organized, kept them printed. I did do that part really well. It was just some of the mental clutter that didn't go as well. And so start again, have a good Monday. And then Tuesday, I love what I did. I just never got around to adding any words to it. And so I just ended up saying I love it, that it just needed just a little bit of attention. But you can even tell that whole day must have just been blah mood. I barely ate anything. Not a fun day. Happy Mail day, played with organizing my covers. My sick kitty, he wasn't feeling very good this day and ended up being at the vet all morning, from there to actually technically there, because I had to leave him, go do my eyes, and then go back for him. So that was really sad. But then we had a better Sunday, got out and had some adventures. I did get my wrap up done, didn't get my setup done, but my pictures are there, capturing all the fun. We saw a bald eagle on our walk. It was so cool. And thankfully the kitty is feeling better. Here I tried to set up another week and it just didn't work. Once again, trying to use the line pages. I tried to do a weekly tarot pull as encouragement. Couldn't get any other thoughts going out. So, I have my weekly pages here, or my weekly planning kind of thing here, but I don't know. I don't know what my brain, it's itching to do something with the week like this. But anyway, if you have any ideas, pop them in the comments. This is a really fun, I really watercolored up, used some very pretty reflective watercolors for that page. Then just, ran out of thoughts, ran out of words, probably ran out of time, slapped some pretty paper on there and done. Some calmer days again. Oh, and this one, I I had so much fun. So we went for a full moon walk, which we really didn't see the moon all that much. It came out for like a wink, but we went for a little full moon walk, me and my puppies. And the moon told me to go home and paint. And I used to love doing full moon pages like this. And I came home and I got in here and I touched stuff I haven't played with in forever, and it came out so cool. So it is just all sorts of shimmery with several watercolors, and then it's this resist that happened totally by accident, or unintentional, I guess, not accident, but that came off, and it just, and even like how the moon, I used a stencil with a whiteout pen, and it like bled onto the stencil instead of giving me a line to work with, and it just came out so cool. So yeah, anyway, this page was super fun, and I'm always incredibly impressed with the Stalogy paper with all that, because this is acrylic and gesso paint that I actually had to water down because I haven't used it in so long. It was pretty let's say clumpy, but just thick. So I watered it down some. So it's acrylic and gesso combo, watered, dried, and then I did a whole bunch of watercolor washes on top and flecked it. That's how I got that resist. And then you got the whiteout pen, and there's not an ounce of bleed through on either of these pages. You know, they're crinkly and they feel different, but it holds up so well. So if you're looking for a notebook that you can use productively, as far as this is the grid style, and yet be creative at the same time, it holds up to the tip-ins, it holds up to watercolor on the pages. It's just a really great notebook. So yeah, so anyway, and then I hadn't done journaling that day, so I ended up just doing journaling, I guess, technically, notes about how I created this, since some of those effects were not necessarily planned, and just, oh, it's so shiny. So I just made some notes. That's what that is. That's right, it was a busy day too for it. Then we had full moon. So we had our rave walk. Was this not our rave walk? Anyway, I must have put it on. Maybe I've taped it. Anyway, I'm trying to think of when. Oh, I dated it. 25th. Okay, so this snuck in earlier, and I hadn't done that page, so I just put it in there as well instead of doing it that way. Okay, so because this is the picture I took of the dogs on the walk where we saw the moon. A little bit more watercolor numbers. That one's a little bit subtler on its shimmer. Taped in this card for it, and then I went to my full moon yoga night, which was lovely. Thoughts while I was there, made for great journaling that night. Took the pups for a walk in their goggles, training up the puppy for it. More washi, because yes. And then we've got a big old picture. Didn't journal. Way to add stuff to the day is we had another pretty walk. Didn't do my wrap up, but I did do my photos and had some fun. This one kind of same thing. Fresh start, try and get back. Come on, we can do it. Journal. I filled out everything on my day. That was a busy day of doing. This was a really busy day of work. I tend not to let my schedule get every slot booked, but this day it happened to. So got that all done. This was a silly oops, in that I wrote this first line, and when I went to write the next one, I accidentally skipped a line, and so I was like, all right, and I just kept skipping a line each time, and then went back and did the black lines, and it's kind of neat. Adds a little bit of different to it. Another full word one. And then we're done. Oh my gosh. And basically how fast that flips is how fast the month felt. Is there anyone else that is just like, wait, how are we already in a new month? It's mind-blowing. So yeah, so now I'm going to, I didn't think about it, but I went ahead and printed the February themed Thursday on the back of the Wednesday. And then I'm going to set up my month was my plan in here. But I think going forward, instead of doing that, I would probably do my monthly wrap up and actually do it in there, and then just have my next one start with there. But that's hard to say. This is the first that it just really started midweek in there, and so I've got nothing in here for February yet, because that's what I'm going to go do next, is get it all set up after doing this little flip with you guys. So that is how January went, yeah, I'll get some of things moved over. I'm hoping to do a little bit of February before the pen as well, and we'll see you in the next video. Thanks. Bye.